Good afternoon, this is Brian. Today is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022, and if any of this looks familiar, I was here about 2 months ago, almost 2 months ago to the day. That was the reason. That was Garnet Mountain over there at 5,680 plus. So I'm back here at Kwaaymii Point. This time, I'm planning on heading up this one here, and this peak is about the same elevation, or close to it. That is peak 5680 plus. So I'm going to try to see if I can find my way to get up there. I'm expecting, just like on the route I took up Garnet Mountain, which is not the typical peak bagger route, I'm probably going to be doing some cross-country ceanothus wading. So, let's see how this goes. Like Garnet Mountain, not like Garnet Peak over there. This one is about the same elevation, 5,680 plus feet. I know there are some paths that kind of mix around here, so this looks like this would be maybe even more of a navigational challenge than the crazy way I went up Garnet Mountain. To go up Garnet Mountain, best way is not to take the PCT, the easiest way, is to go up that dirt road, go up to a saddle, and just book it on a really easy road. It's actually, if I had gone that way, it would have been too easy of a hike for me that day. But anybody who knows me knows I do like to up the ante a little. So this is Kwaaymii Point. This used to be a part of Sunrise Highway back in the day, but then they rerouted it on the other side of Peak 5680 for the purpose of safety, because I think this side was prone to a lot of rockfall, I believe. So here we go. We're going to go up this little use path here. I'll go up as far as I can. This isn't going to be a huge elevation gain hike. However, this will be a little bit of a navigational challenge, and maybe hard to find the summit. So we'll see how this goes. Pretty sure it looks like the crazy way I went up Garnet Mountain. You know what? I'm not sorry I did it either. I have no regrets doing it that way. Because I think, yeah, I did it the more insane way. So I felt like I earned it more. So that's Garnet Mountain. So again, the way I went was, according to some people, the stupid way. In other words, the more adventurous way. That's the way I like to look at it. So, went there. That's the PCT. Went around the side very gradually, not really gaining any elevation. And eventually, I found a little notch, or a gully, and I followed what looked like a use trail at first, which ended up petering out to be this low-growth chaparral. And it took a lot longer to get to the top. If I had gone this way, right here on the dirt road, probably would have gotten up there in probably about 15 minutes. So now, the adventure begins. Now I've got to start wading my way through chaparral. And it looks like we're already starting that little bit of adventure right now. So this is where I'm going to be wading through manzanita, chamise, and ceanothus. So let's see how this goes. This will be even more off trail, I think, than Garnet Mountain was. So I'm just going to be wading a path through, kind of like I did follow chaparral maze to get up to Garnet Mountain. We're going to be doing the same to get up to peak 5680. I don't think this will be an extremely long hike, but it should definitely be a little bit on the adventure side. There's peaks on the topo maps, but not given an elevation. Or wait a minute. No, it's not even listed on the topo maps. I'm sorry. It's not. Garnet Mountain is, obviously. And there's a small sub-summit north called Garnet Benchmark. I didn't go all the way to the benchmark. Heard it's supposed to be pretty nasty to get over there. Okay, now the bushwhacking begins, folks. Alright. Yeah. So today it's just pick a path through the shrubs. Whew. So I'm assuming this will probably be very similar to Garnet Mountain. It's going to be interesting finding where the peak actually is. That's going to be a challenge. Not worried about getting lost because obviously I'm getting more familiar with this area as I come here more often, and I've been here to hike up that side. So getting lost, it's not really a concern. But also, Sunrise Highway is just over there. Kwaaymii Point Road is right over there. But I do want to successfully summit this small peak here. So, yeah. The only indication of this on the topo maps is just the 5,680 foot contour ring around the top here. And I know I think I remember mentioning this hill when I was over on that side, thinking, oh, looks like a curiosity. Looks interesting. So I figured I'd come back here to try it. Not that long ago, I just finished up a hike over at Laguna Mountain. I did Wooded Hill. Did the longer figure 8 loop up and down Wooded Hill. So that video should be out pretty soon with this one. It's pretty cool. I like this little tree. I like this little spot. Again, finding the peak might be the most challenging part of this, besides occasional bushwhacking. But so far, so good. It's going to be probably no more than maybe 250 to 300 feet elevation gain. So this difficulty level shouldn't be too bad. Again, depending on how much thrashing comes up. And to me, that was the far most difficult thing about Garnet Mountain. The route I took was the wading and bushwhacking. That's what slowed me down. It also made for a beautiful adventure and a much longer video set than I thought. So far it looks like an old use trail, maybe an ancient fire break. so far. And it's heading almost directly up, so this could be a very good sign. It's getting windy, so bear with me. Honestly, I'm almost hoping this is a false summit. Brian, why would you hope for a false summit? Well, it is. I'm actually kind of there's more terrain up there. I'm actually kind of relieved it's a false summit. I've only been out hiking up this for about 8 minutes. First couple minutes, I was down there looking for a way to start going up this. So, I am kind of relieved. Okay, let's see. So we're route finding. It's going to come in play here. Starting to get some good views opening up. I catch my breath. Pretty, yeah, excuse me. Coming up here, it's been easy. Now, some great views are really starting to open up here, as I was mentioning. Okay. Great views out towards Grandin Mountain and Anza Borrego. Now, I think this is where, I remember when I was looking at Google Earth to scout this area out, I do remember what looked like a use trail and then it petered out, leaving the top of it open country. So I think that was the use trail portion. Climb up this. So now dip to this little shelf here. Now this is, I think, where where more of the bushwhacking is going to start into play. This is where route finding will definitely require a little more attention. Again, just trying to aim to the peak. I said, coming back, I'm surrounded by roads and landmarks that are familiar to me. So lost out here isn't really a sense of getting lost where you have to try to flag down help or whatever. It's just a matter of being on the right track to get to the top. A lot of shrubby canyon live oak up here. More shrubby because I know this area was battered by fires over the decades. So that's why the chaparral isn't really tall and impenetrable, allowing for this place to be hikeable, which is great. Here's that false summit. Yeah, believe it or not, it's one of the few times you'll ever hear somebody wish for a false summit. I didn't want this to be too easy. Alright. So Where we are is still part of the Laguna Mountains, but it's not Cleveland National Forest. This area kind of is between the line of Borrego Desert State Park and Bureau of Land Management land. Because right by the sign of Kwaaymii Point Road, where you turn to come up to Kwaaymii Point, there is a sign at the intersection saying Borrego Desert State Park. So we're really close to the boundary of Borrego. Actually, my intended hike this morning was supposed to end me at Borrego. And that was San Isidro Mountain via Ranchita / Cherry Canyon. And I just woke up a little too late for that. I would have liked to, something like that, which requires a lot more off-trail activity. I'd like to allow myself more daylight. Especially now, the sun's setting super early. Yeah, there's Garnet. You can see a little pole on the top of it from here. Yeah, so that's Garnet Mountain. That little point next to it, I think, is Garnet Benchmark. Which I'm trying to go for that. I already hiked 2 peaks prior to that, Hazen Monument. Neither of which were difficult. At least the way I came. All right. So let's see. Do some eating here. Actually, so far, this has been much easier than much easier, but very similar. Kind of getting similar now. Not too bad. Thankfully, the shrubs are very low, so I just have to wade through them. It's another reason why I always wear long pants on hikes. Always. Always. Okay, let's see. It's gonna be another false summit. I wouldn't mind if it was, because this has been a really mellow walk up here. Much easier to find my way up here. And there's another peak right there, peak 5764. That one is given a designation on the topo maps. This one isn't, because it has the approximate elevation, 5680. That's an approximate. It's in a 40-foot closed contour on the topo contours. It's between 5,680 and 5,720 feet. So a lot of times you'll see listings for a number with a plus sign next to it. When you see that, it's in the very minimal elevation of that peak is what the number is, but it's in a contour between that and usually 40 feet higher. Alright, just about up here. I don't see anything higher up ahead. Now it's time to pick out which rock pile is the highest. It's most likely going to be this one over here, but barely took me 15-16 minutes to get up here. is going to be, yeah, this one looks a little bit higher, so I'm going to call it a summit up here. This little rock outcrop. So here I am, peak 5680. High point. This footing's not the best up here for me to stand comfortably, but I'm trying to do a pan out for you guys here. Okay, so looking towards the lower Kwaaymii over there. That's basically south right there. That's actually looking out towards Mexico. Some of the higher lagunas. One of those is Wooded Hill, I think. One of those. Might be that one there. And there's Kwaaymii, the two bump peak there. Stevenson Peak over there. Monument Peak with Hayes Peak kind of hard to see in front of it. Not sure what that one is. That might be a very random peak there. Might be something to climb one day. There's Garnet Peak right there. Again, Garnet Peak versus Garnet Mountain behind me. Alright, I gotta turn around very carefully. These rocks are kind of jagged edge. Salton Sea down there. And there's Whale Peak. Still gotta try to hit that one day. Well, I don't have four-wheel drive. To get to the trailhead, I think you have to have four-wheel drive, which means I'll probably have to hike in from the road or something, which will mean a much longer adventure. Something to wake up extra early for. Now we're looking out towards Villager Peak, and then Rabbit Peak. Of course, Toro Peak over there. Granite Mountain right there in Anza-Borrego. The San Jacinto Wilderness, the San Gorgonio Wilderness. That ridge in the far background is Palomar Mountain with the observatory in the middle. Won't see it on camera very well. And then the small pointy bump to the right of it is the high point of Palomar, 6,140. And then there's North Peak in the center there. That's North Peak of Kwaaymii. That's off limits to hikers. And then right there in the middle is Middle Peak, and then slightly to the left of it is Stonewall Peak. And of course, Kwaaymii Peak, that high point, and on to the left of it is Hapasha Peak, which is very small peak in Kwaaymii. And then there, close up at hand, is Peak 5764. So I'm wondering if I should go for it. If there's a way to get up there, I don't know. I'm not sure if there's even a semblance of a use trail to get up there. And of course, Sunrise Highway down below us. So yeah, some great views up here. So yeah, beautiful Peak 5680. Be my second peak of the day, besides Wooded Hill I did earlier. Good views up here. And then down there is the Pioneer Mail picnic area. I was almost gonna try to climb it up from there. I think that would have been a much more difficult undertaking. I was almost going to try to drive into Pioneer Mail picnic area and try to climb up it from there. Actually, it would have been a little bit more elevation gain, at least 150 feet more. And of course, you got Garnet Mountain, Garnet Benchmark, and that's the road I should have gone up instead of the PCT. But then again, why am I saying I should have? It made for a better adventure video, and a better adventure for me. So this is it, Peak 5680. Awesome little peak here. It was pretty easy to get up here. I'm not gonna lie. A pretty easy hike to get up here. I mean, it's not very steep. Coming from this way, I think it would be steeper. I'm wondering if Peak 5764 would be climbable. So this one's not on Peak Bagger. It's not even mentioned on the topo maps. It just has the 5,680 foot contour ring. That one does have a named elevation. It's not on Peak Bagger either, but it doesn't have a designation on the topo map. That's why it has a specific elevation. Like this one again is not even listed on Peak Bagger or on the topo map. So this is a very random peak. And you know, if you've watched enough of my videos, you know I love to visit random peaks. And I think it'll give you an opportunity for some awesome solitude and peace and quiet. You don't want to be around the crowds. And this exactly fits the bill perfectly. And look down on the north side of Peak 5764, you can see some black oaks that recovered from the fire. They're all changing color for autumn. I think I'm gonna have to get summit selfies. Yeah, a selfie and maybe some view shots, and then I will resume the down climb. Alright, so now we're on the way, starting the descent. Down the hill. Let's see. I do kind of have to aim my descent a little more this way, the false summit over there, so I end up at a good place to exit the hike, get closer to the car, to hoof it. So the route down is probably not going to be the exact same route up, because again, there's no, once you get up past a certain point, there's really no defined trail to get up here. There's no trail, actually no trail at all. You're just weaving around and sometimes pushing through chaparral. So again, this is kind of a pick your own path. I saw my footsteps just a minute ago, so came through roughly this area. Again, trying to pick the least resisted path. And so far, working out quite well. So that's why I am filming on the way down, in case I get off of my ascent track. In case, you know, I get off my ascent track and then something interesting happens, I'll be able to video it on the way down. So we're gonna get to that shallow saddle beneath that first false summit I saw coming up. Ooh, pretty cool little hike. It's impossible for me to follow the exact same route down. I don't use GPS. I rely on visual cues. I mean, if I were doing really long cross-country hikes, I would definitely tech up and do that kind of thing. But like if I were doing miles upon miles and miles and miles of cross-country travel, I most certainly would want to be a lot more prepared than just looking on Google Earth and thinking, okay, that's the hike I want to do, that's the route I'm going to take, there we go. No, not so. I would definitely want to be much better prepared, and if I were going to do a long off-trail type hike, then I would most certainly want to be very well prepared for that, because when you're off trail, you're relying on your ability to navigate. And I could be pretty good at it. I'm not the world's best navigator, but I'm usually pretty confident in myself getting by. again, sometimes you want to take that extra step to be prepared. Here we are nearing that little low, this little low dip here, that little false peak that I saw on the way up. So yeah, I would, if I were planning on something like that, I would be wise to invest in GPS technology to at least be able to use if I need it. Like I said, I'd want to plan it out and feel confident in being able to do it. But again, using that would be a pretty wise safety measure. Probably a Garmin inReach too, in case you get in trouble. And that happens to people, even most experienced hikers who are far more experienced than I am, you know, have run into trouble and needed to use technology to help them get out of the situation. And a Garmin inReach or something similar to that would probably be good for trying to summon help if needed. Luckily, where I had my fall near Mount Wilson back in 2019, I fell to right above the road, Mount Wilson Road, so I was not out in the middle of the wilderness. And it's a fairly decently traveled road. This Mount Wilson is a popular area, so people hiking and people driving Mount Wilson Road were able to see me and summon help for me. So, I would probably like to try Eaton Saddle to Occidental Peak again one day, but if I decide that I get to a point that I don't feel confident like I did that first time, I would certainly bail out by going back along the ridge heading west towards back to Eaton Saddle that way, as opposed to trying to bail out by, basically what I did was I was hiking down Mount Wilson Road, and then I started glissading on the dirt. Glissading is basically when you're sliding on your buttocks. So I was glissading too. I was glissading down the hill for a while until I had to stop at a point where continuing to glissade would be falling off of a cliff. So I did that, and then I was starting to ramble around looking for an exit strategy. And I started finding that route downhill a little bit more, not looking too good. So then I ended up out on a rock ledge, at least serious class 3 or low class 4, and I was just literally holding on to it and didn't get a good foothold, and then the next thing I knew I blacked out, and then I came to laying with a bunch of good Samaritans shading me from the hot sun, because it was a warm spell in June. And then I got airlifted out. So yeah, like I said, I've had my fair share of crazy times. Alright. I think I'm definitely off the path that I came up. Let me see here. Like I said, going down the exact same way as you came up is a lot of times not going to happen. I mean, if I did do a GPS track on my phone or something, which I have a flip phone. I don't have a fancy phone for any of that stuff. And I might have been able to figure it out. So here I am back gaining the little fire break or whatever this was. Yeah, so I was a little off. This is the route I went up right here, and that's where I came from. So, but now I'm back on route. But yeah, that was quite a doozy in 2019. That was quite a doozy of a day. Of course, 3 weeks later, I was still not allowed to come back to work yet because I couldn't lift 50 pounds or whatever it was, or 25. 3 weeks later, at the end of the month, June 2019, I was back on the trail hiking again. Luckily, I didn't sustain any severe injuries. But it's pretty scary sometimes what can happen to you out there. Here we are, getting close to Kwaaymii Point again. Yeah, I'm tempted to check out 5764. Very tempted to. So yeah, should be back pretty soon. Pretty short hike coming down. Yeah, there's where I'm parked, right just down the hill. Really short distance down the hill from here. And even if I end up down there somewhere, all I got to do is just follow that lightly vegetated bit down there. But I don't think that'll be necessary. I think I'll probably end up pretty close to where I came up. Yeah, so very little bushwhacking on this one. You're wading, so your legs are bushwhacking, but not a lot of bushwhacking at arm and chest and higher level, which is pretty happy about that. Just a little minor bushwhack right over here, which I think I might bypass that this time. Picking my own path on this side of that little dense patch. Oh yeah, could have avoided that just by swinging around. Yeah, did a small amount of bushwhacking over here. Very, very small. Somewhere around here. I think it was up here. I think it was up around here is where I think I had that small bushwhacking bit. Down here is just pretty much easy getting down. Just picking my own path kind of leisurely, not really caring about racing to get back to the car. Sometimes it doesn't need to be that way. But yeah, Garnet Mountain. I did the insane way to Garnet Mountain. Well, actually, I think the really insane way is to try to the really truly insane way would be to try to climb from the desert floor, if there's even a way to do that. You'd go haul yourself up thousands of feet, probably over more crazy chaparral to climb up to Garnet Mountain from down there, down in Borrego. That would be pretty nuts, pretty nutsy, pretty insane. Yeah, I'm just about to wrap up this video. I'm just a mere 40 or 50 feet away from Kwaaymii Point. And on the way back, no bushwhacking, just some slight wading through the shrubs, that's it. Because I started going up roughly this way. And yeah, right about there actually is where I had a small bushwhacking part that lasted 20 seconds. So here we are back at Kwaaymii Point. I think there was an interpretive sign. I know there's an interpretive sign pointing out the landscape. I think there was another interpretive sign around the bend here on the old part of Highway S1 or Sunrise. Take a look while we're here as well. So yeah, if you want to do Garnet Peak the easy way, if you're just in it for the business of nabbing a peak, take the dirt road over there. Don't take the PCT. But if you want the more adventurous way, check out my video and check out my video there and take a stab at it, I guess. I mean, I can see why Sunrise Highway was routed on the other side of Peak 5680. Totally can see why now. Well, this is supposed to be, I think this is Cottonwood Canyon, I think that's the name of this one. Reconfirm on the way out, but yeah. See some fall color down there. Wow, I would be climbing up this one day. Maybe far away from civilization to get up here. I have to hike over the desert for miles and miles. Yeah, I like to think about other, other options. So what do we got here? Robert Ward the fisherman. Robert Ward the fisherman. He traveled the road of life in his own passionate way, sharing his knowledge and beliefs. We will miss his enthusiasm for friends, fishing, motorcycling, and racing, aka Crazy Ward, Wardley, McGurk the Elder, Ward Off, Vort, Wade, Wortley, Wardman, Mabel, and Marital Ward, and quote, die yuppie scum. Okay. Memorial. Oh, this is a bunch of memorials. That's what this is. This is not really an interpretive spot. This is more of a memorial to people. So yeah, those aren't interpretive signs, those are all plaque memorials. So here we are on the very crumbly side of Peak 5680. Look down the canyon. Very dramatic look down this canyon. So close to the desert edge. You can almost reach out and touch the desert. Great views along this. here. All shards and everything that broke off here. Definitely see why this was closed and never used again. So I'm just gonna walk a short distance along this to close out the video. Get to a point where that's gonna more memorials here too. You see part of the old guardrail from Sunrise Highway. Now on this east side right here, nice thick canyon live oak. Pale silk tassel. Wow, pretty cool. This road cut here, I can see some rock that's about to fall off at any time. Right there, that one right there looks like it's been breached. It's probably gonna fall soon. So yeah, no wonder why they closed this off. Oh, look at this! Look at this gully right here. This is interesting. Wow, very interesting. This road cut got eroded so crazily. Actually made like a little gully over here. I want to get the direct sun. This would probably be an insane way to climb this. Sorry for the sun glare. I apologize for that. Huh. That might be a cool way to scramble up Peak 5680, were I so inclined. I do like to look at different adventure possibilities. This canyon view just knocks my socks off. Imagine trying to climb up to here from down there, or to climb up to one of these peaks. The final summit push would be the easiest part of your day. Nice views up here, though, I'll tell you. I just cannot imagine this being an easy climb at all. Yeah, you'd have to know how to do class 3 and up to get up here, I think. These gullies are very steep. It does look interesting though, from a cross-country hiker's perspective. Yeah, this would be extremely steep, probably very loose. Coming up this way. Some of these other ways, I don't know, there might be some other ways to get up here without the insanity, but it seems like it'd be pretty tough. It's always cool to think about it. Well, I'm just going to be walking back to my car. I mean, you already pretty much saw the length of, basically the length of this hike from Kwaaymii Point to Peak 5680. I really hope you enjoyed that little adventure as much as I enjoyed filming it and doing it. And hope to see you soon on the next adventure. Thanks for watching.